Please welcome to the stage President of Emerson Test and Measurement, Ritu Favre.
Good morning. Welcome everybody to NI Connect. I'm so excited to be here. Wasn't that an inspirational video? I love it. This is our first NI Connect since being acquired by Emerson, and we will talk a lot more about that over the next couple of days. I'm really excited to be here. A very warm welcome to our customers, our partners, and our employees. Though we are now Emerson Test and Measurement, the NI brand and what it represents remains exactly the same. We're so excited to be part of Emerson and expand on the vision of boundless automation into test organizations. As the first president of Emerson's newly created Test and Measurement Group, I remain humbled and honored by what this role represents and the long history and legacy that comes with it. For those of you that have been part of the NI community for a very long time, you might appreciate the weightiness of this responsibility. Nearly 50 years ago, 3 ambitious engineers, led by Dr. T, started NI with a vision that the PC could revolutionize test and measurement. This vision drove a culture of intense innovation in products like GPIB, LabVIEW, which you're going to hear a ton about this week, and PXI. In 1986, we introduced LabVIEW as a game-changing graphical programming language that was critical to NI achieving its vision for a software-centric approach to test. Over the next 40 years, LabVIEW has achieved a cult-like status as it extracts data from PC-based data acquisition devices, powers robots, and of course, drives hundreds of thousands of test systems around the world. LabVIEW is so core to NI's identity that the words, "the software is the instrument," is literally engraved on the streets of our campus here in Austin. As we continue to look forward, our intent is to continue to help engineers and enterprises achieve their business and product performance goals through our software-centric approach to test. This approach makes it easier for engineers and enterprises to tackle simple measurement tasks like measuring current consumption on a PCB in the lab, or whole enterprise challenges like managing a fleet of 100 manufacturing test stations. To achieve this, we understand that product investment is critical, and this includes hardware and software. It also involves our people. I have inherited an amazing team here at NI that is made up of some of the smartest people that I have ever worked with that can be sometimes a little aggravating, but they're extremely smart. Their drive and commitment to you, our customers, and our partners is incredible. Seeing them help you solve your toughest challenges is so inspiring to me. Over the next couple of days, we're excited to share more about the investments that we're making in LabVIEW Plus, Intelligent Test, and PXI instrumentation. So again, I welcome you to NI Connect. Thank you so much for joining us here in Austin, and thank you for being a part of this wonderful NI community. So to kick off today's keynote, I would like to invite a couple of longtime NI users who have had success with our software-centric approach. Our first guest is the technical lead and architect for a test solution where test software and hardware integration is an absolute necessity. Please join me in welcoming George Kahler from Siemens in Germany. Welcome, George. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Ritu. It's great to be here. So my business unit at Siemens makes trains. In fact, it was Siemens who invented the electric train. But today, trains are incredibly complex, software-defined, continuously evolving systems. So first, consider that each train order is completely unique, with sometimes only a few trains on order. They have different systems, components, software, wiring, and so on. And with that costing millions, there's lots to play for on each order. And next, they must integrate with existing infrastructure. And as you know, it's often old and haphazard. And then run in multiple units in different configurations on a daily basis. And ultimately, they must do this in a way that's 100% reliable and safe.
So with each train being different, how do you handle all of the different test cases?
Well, this is where I come in. We, as a team, develop a functional digital twin of all our trains. We call it TrainSim. We've built thousands of digital models representing every single component, right from the smallest diode to large, complex ECUs. Unlike a monolithic model, this gives us ultimate flexibility. With this library, we can digitally build a train, a digital vehicle twin, based on past current state of vehicle development from the ground up, each one custom, just in hours after every design iteration, and then also run it on a digital railway infrastructure with inclinations, curvature, signaling, and so on. But also with many of these digital trains running together, even in a multiple unit configuration. So each box here represents a type of train component. So these components can be fully simulated, software simulated, for example, built in LabVIEW, virtualized controllers created from their software, or replaced with the actual train component. Our engineers can swap between these methodologies in VeriStand, easily depending on their testing needs. So with this methodology, we're evolving from a digital twin, from a test and verification tool, into a product design necessity. We want every engineer to have a train at their desk. So a bit like the one shown here, this is a user interface. It's created in LabVIEW, interacting with VeriStand and with the real DUTs. So with these digital twins, they can see how their component, or whatever they're building, affects the whole system with every design iteration, or how other things are affecting them.
So how do you connect the digital model of the train to the physical hardware?
Let me show you. This is me in one of our labs. Here we manage over 500 test benches in totally different configurations that use PXI, Rio, LabVIEW, and VeriStand. That's hundreds of chassis, thousands of modules that bring our digital twin to life. To do this, we need a huge variety of I/O that integrates with our systems, our software, and so on. So we chose the NI platform because of its wealth of its options and its openness. You have almost everything I need. And when you don't, I can plug in a third-party tool or module or make something in-house.
George, I think this is such a wonderful example of how important it is for us to prioritize having a broad portfolio of hardware I/O and keeping it very tightly integrated with our software.
I agree. We think NI has the best hardware and software for what we do. When you put PXI, C-Series, VeriStand, LabVIEW, NI Linux RT together, they deliver the most complete ecosystem on the market.
Well, we are committed to investing in these platforms, so the ecosystem should get stronger and stronger for you.
Glad to hear. I'll finish by sharing that this approach has been really successful for us. In the past, commissioning a train can take 6 months or more, and now we can do it in a few weeks. So I'm proud of our team for this achievement. It's a step change for Siemens Mobility and will save us thousands of engineering hours and millions of more.
Congratulations to you and your team, George. It's so great to see our vision for a software-centric approach to test played out in each of your labs and test systems. Now, for those who want to learn more, I think you're hosting a session later today?
Yes, 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll go into more detail on architecture, workflow, and how we digital twin with TrainSim.
I hope that you have a great session later, and thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
So our second guest today is a pioneer in the semiconductor space whose company has the vision to help engineers stay ahead of what is possible. In areas as varied as automotive, telecom, and space exploration, I'd really like to welcome ADI's Mike O'Sullivan to the stage. Hello, it's been so long. Thank you so much for joining us again, Mike. It's great to see you.
Ritu, thanks for having me.
Some of you might not remember this, but we had Mike on stage a couple of years ago, and he's been on stage with me in Munich. What have you and the team been up to since then?
We've been busy since our last appearance on stage. From our LEAP initiative that we introduced in 2019 to a new lab approach, there hasn't been a dull moment.
I can imagine. Tell us a little bit more about this new lab approach. What prompted the change?
Well, like many companies, in 2020, our operations were severely disrupted by COVID-19. The need to work remotely exposed the difference in agility across functions. The situation highlighted how much better our design and test teams were set up for remote work. Validation, however, saw an initial efficiency loss approaching 30%, which was a big red flag for us.
I think that's something that almost everybody in the room can relate to. So how did ADI go about correcting this?
We needed to move quickly and began looking at ways to operationalize the lab. The idea was to leverage best practices from our design and test teams, such as standardization and centralization, to increase the efficiency. With this in mind, we began an initiative that enables a hybrid approach in our verification labs, or what we called Hive Labs. These labs aim to provide a scalable support infrastructure that allows us to standardize and automate validation. Having different teams using the same tools drives significantly more IP reuse across all of our development sites globally.
That's really amazing. With operations the size and scale of ADI, how did you go about selecting the right software framework?
That's a great question. Finding the right mix of tools that fit our requirements wasn't easy. This is where NI and its partner network came in. Using NI's PXI platform, we achieved the level of flexibility we needed to adapt to change quickly. As true partners, NI and Soliton also provided much of the architectural direction for developing test-stand-ready code modules. This allowed us to automate measurements with a standardized code environment.
Mike, I think this is a great example of how standardization can improve the efficiency of engineering teams. I'm curious, what lessons have you learned from this?
You know, I've worked in the semiconductor industry for nearly 30 years now, and I've found that it's often most challenging to get engineers to entertain a new way of working. After all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've seen this over and over again. Having the right tool but not using it correctly defeats the purpose. And in some cases, it can be deadly. I mean, Luke here is just a button click away from depriving us from the best movie trilogy in history. And that's one of the reasons why we're all here today. The engineers here hold the key to unlocking incredible opportunities within their organizations. I'd like to challenge everyone in this room to consider how they can reinvent their workflows from design through validation and test for more reuse.
You're right, Mike. I sincerely believe that test can be a strategic differentiator. It comes down to your point here. It requires one individual to lead the change.
I agree. It's the imagination, or rather reimagination of test by individuals that helps products get to market quicker.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing the important work that your team is doing.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
You too.
So the stories that you just heard from ADI and Siemens are great examples of how a software-centric approach to test can be the differentiator that delivers business impact to your whole enterprise. But these stories didn't start as an enterprise success. They started with a single engineer using a new approach to test in the lab. So let's take a deeper look at the software that makes this approach special. As you'll hear in the next segment, we're deeply committed to investing in our core test software, and I really hope that you're as encouraged by its future as I am. And who better to talk through this with us than our new director of the LabVIEW community, Eli Carey. Welcome, Eli.
Hello and good morning. I am very excited to be here to talk about the future of our software platform and especially LabVIEW. You know, I've been at NI about 18 years now, and one of the things I enjoy most about my job is the amazing applications that you're building with our tools. And at the heart of many of those applications is LabVIEW. And LabVIEW has been so wildly successful because, as Ritu mentioned earlier, it empowers experts. It empowers experts who are advancing new wireless technologies, who are making transportation safer, faster, more reliable, who are pioneering new ways of exploring space, who are developing life-saving medical technologies, and so many other examples. Across all of these applications, the common thing is we're empowering experts to get real data and real signals into a complex automation system. And this is for the sake of iteration, discovery, and innovation. Or as we like to say, it ultimately empowers them to do engineering. So let's talk about the future of LabVIEW and the LabVIEW community, because we're going to be investing more in several key areas. For starters, we're going to be investing more to strengthen LabVIEW. This means new features and new technologies. We're going to be working with, to better integrate LabVIEW with our full portfolio of test software. The goal here is to give you a higher level starting point that ensures you're more productive. And finally, we're going to talk about our efforts to grow, build, and strengthen the overall LabVIEW community. I got to say that one of the things I'm most impressed by is the passion and the advocacy we see in you. And one of my roles as community director is to elevate and empower this amazing group of people and the work you're doing with our products. So to get started, we're going to first take a look at some of the new investments and features we're adding to the product. So to help me show you some examples, please welcome from LabVIEW R&D, Greg Richardson and Craig Smith. All right, welcome guys. So let's get started. I understand we want to start by showing some of the progress we've made on AI since last year. So what do you have?
Well, we don't usually show really complicated code on stage at a keynote, but check this out. This code works, but it's not well documented and has some readability challenges. So who here can tell me what this code is doing or how it works?
Any volunteers? No, I mean, in all seriousness, that's obviously not code we would normally put in a keynote, but it's not terrible. I bet the champions and the architects in the room could dive in, but it would take some time, right?
Sure, but it's not trivial. And we know that it's common for LabVIEW developers to inherit code like this. Many programs are extensions or adaptations of existing systems.
Exactly. I was going to emphasize, I was actually just with some students taking a LabVIEW class, and this was the theme across most of the students in that room. They were inheriting code or a system that somebody else wrote, and they're tasked with maintaining it. Very common challenge.
Yep. So let's talk about how AI can make this easier. We've trained a model on LabVIEW coding patterns, so now we can give it access to this project and begin asking it questions as we would the expert who wrote the original code. Let's take a look at a recording of an interaction with Nigel, our AI engine, to understand the code. You can see the user select diagnose this VI, and the AI will analyze the diagram and give us a high-level overview.
Yeah, so instead of reading that tiny text, why don't you give us a summary of what it's saying?
All right. It's explaining that this application is a test bench that is used to synchronize a power supply and a DMM to take a measurement. This is just the high-level overview, but now we can follow up with more specific questions like, how can I add a hardware channel? The AI understands the logic of the code and how it's organized, so now you can see it's giving us advice on how to add the functionality.
Okay, so help us understand how this is working. Do we have our own LLM?
This is made possible by our generative AI team at NI, working in close collaboration with Microsoft to get preview access to the latest models and techniques. Through that collaboration, we were able to fine-tune GPT-4 Turbo to understand and reason about LabVIEW code.
Now, we should emphasize that what you're seeing is a technology preview, but it is actually something you can sign up for today. So Greg, tell us where they can go to do that.
This is just one example of several use cases we're exploring with AI. To learn more, you can check out our demo booth in the Experience Lounge and sign up for the preview. We'll also go into more details about our long-term plans for AI in tomorrow's keynote.
Awesome. Okay, great. So that was, again, a recording for the sake of time. But now we're actually going to open LabVIEW 2024 and show you some new features. So, Greg, can you explain more about what we've been doing to help project teams that are collaborating on a large LabVIEW project?
Sure. We know a lot of customers' applications start with a single developer and a single VI. But we see those quickly grow, which makes it critical that users can easily share code and work together.
Sure, very common. And of course, the first most basic tool is source code control. So I see Craig here is pulling up GitHub. Can you show us some of the workflow improvements?
Yeah. Consider a scenario where you receive a pull request for a LabVIEW project, such as this one. Each time, you need to quickly understand what changed. Craig has found the PR's branch in Git fork, and he's launching graphical diff directly from this external tool.
Now, to be clear, as many people know, we've had graphical diff and graphical merge for many, many years. So let's make sure we understand exactly what's different now.
In LabVIEW 2024 Q3, we've greatly improved the value of the diff report. Here, Craig's showing that it zooms to show large differences and groups things to improve readability.
Yeah, it helps users focus on exactly what they need to know to understand the differences. So great. This is just one of several recent improvements to the editor. Last year was another example. We showed zoom. And I think most people here may see these features and think, well, I have to upgrade all my source if I want to take advantage of this, which is not something everybody necessarily wants to do. So talk about how we're making this a lot easier.
Any major software upgrade typically requires some level of revalidation. At the very least, it normally requires that all team members are using the same version of LabVIEW. In 2024 Q3, that's no longer the case. For example, in this project, Craig's showing that the project settings are configured to the save version to 2021.
And for those of you in the room with really good eyes, you may notice that you can actually go as far back as 2017. So you can use the newest editor and keep your source in the original version. But Greg, just to put you on the spot, what happens if you're in an older version and you try to use a new feature that it didn't support?
If Craig adds a node that isn't supported in 2021, it immediately shows a warning in the state panel, and we can see details in the error window.
And I know we are continuing to work on collaborative improvements or improvements to collaborative workflows and related topics like continuous integration and continuous delivery. So stay tuned for more, and be sure to check out sessions throughout this week's conference on these and other new features. Great work, guys. Thank you. All right, on to the second theme, connecting LabVIEW. So as I mentioned, our goal here is enabling our users to use the right tool for the job across their entire workflow. And the first step towards this was the introduction of the LabVIEW Plus suite. And this includes all of our key test software products. However, to make this more than just a licensing bundle, we realized we have to integrate these products so that users can quickly and easily switch between configuration workflows and extending them with graphical programming. So we've focused our efforts on these 4 key workflows. And today, we'll dive into the electronics validation workflow. But you can see the others on the Experience Lounge floor. So anyway, to help show this, please welcome to the stage Ryan Friedman and Grace Ford.
Thanks, Eli. The first step in this workflow is setting up, configuring, and validating hardware. For this, we introduced Instrument Studio. This software provides a quick, interactive way to configure your PXI instruments and begin characterizing your device. Grace, let's see this in action.
Definitely. So today we'll be testing a DC-DC converter on a power management integrated circuit. We're also using 2 of our newest instruments today, a power supply and an electronic load, both capable of 300 watts of DC power in order to validate our device.
That's a lot of power packed into just a few PXI slots. Now let's use the power of Instrument Studio to configure them.
Let's do it. So here I have an Instrument Studio project that shows the voltage and current of our power supply, which is in green, and our electronic load, which is in orange. We can go ahead and quickly turn on these instruments and see that our DC-DC converter is working as we would expect.
Okay, so that was pretty quick. It looks like we completed the setup and configuration in a matter of seconds. But how does this actually help us take the measurement we need?
So to quickly transition from setup and configuration to measurement and automation, I'm excited to announce the Instrument Studio Professional Edition, which brings even more productivity to our interactive environment. Today, I want to show how you can extend Instrument Studio Pro with custom measurements and automation tasks.
So let's take a look at a custom measurement first. Here I have our efficiency measurement, which was programmed in LabVIEW. And now with Instrument Studio Pro, we can use that in the same environment as our instruments. So we can go ahead and run this, and you'll see that we are going to be sweeping across different input voltages from 6 volts to 20 volts in order to characterize our converter. But since we are still in Instrument Studio, if we had happened to see anything unexpected, we could quickly switch back to those raw signals at any time. And now we've quickly completed our efficiency test.
So that showed a more configuration-based approach to measurement by connecting LabVIEW and Instrument Studio Pro. Grace, let's walk through how engineers can automate this measurement using Instrument Studio Pro and test stand.
Let's do it.
So here's the test stand sequence we've previously prepared, and we will be adding the efficiency measurement to it. This is where it gets pretty cool. We can go to that measurement that we just ran manually in Instrument Studio and copy the configuration. Then we can go to the measurement step in test stand and paste that configuration directly into the step settings. Now let's run the sequence. As the sequence executes, you'll see that the panel in Instrument Studio represents a live view of the measurement. When it completes, we can see that the last run was executed by test stand. So now we have interaction and automation together in a connected workflow.
And for the validation engineers out there who need simple sweeping and sequencing but don't want to learn test stand, we have now built some automation right into Instrument Studio, which you can see here.
Awesome. Okay, so we've just gone through steps in our electronics workflow from instrument configuration to a fairly complex automation in only a few minutes. And what we saw here was an example of how NI is connecting our software in the LabVIEW Plus suite and facilitating extensibility with graphical programming.
Instrument Studio Pro will be available starting in July, but you can get a sneak peek in sessions and demos this week. I'm also pleased to share that if you have LabVIEW Plus, you will automatically get a license to this product when it releases. Your LabVIEW Plus suite just got better.
Thank you, Ryan and Grace.
Thanks, Eli.
Now, what we just showcased is an important aspect of what it means to connect LabVIEW. The integration with hardware and the continued investment we have into ensuring our software is paired with a state-of-the-art measurement portfolio. So you just saw us use our new 300-watt power supply and load, but this is just one example of the new products we've been working on. Other examples include the 3rd generation vector signal transceiver with a vector network analyzer, an 8-channel digital pattern instrument, and our latest PXI controllers, which are based on the 11th generation Intel Core processors. So of course, it's really the combination of these advancements in hardware with our software portfolio that is the heart of our approach to the value we deliver. Now with that said, let's move on to our 3rd pillar. For the last topic, we want to talk about the community and its role in improving the product and improving the knowledge, the experience, and the success of all our users. So to help me explain our plans, I want to welcome a well-known member of the LabVIEW community to the stage, Mr. Jim Kring. Hey, Jim. Jim, I think many people here know you, but tell us a little bit about your background and your experience with LabVIEW.
Sure, Eli. I'm Jim Kring, the CEO and founder of JKI. We've been leveraging LabVIEW for over 30 years, especially in the new space industry. LabVIEW's been the go-to tool for us because it empowers us to innovate and deliver solutions faster than any other platform can.
Now, you actually have a demo of JKI's rocket engine test software on the Experience Lounge floor, right? It's called Stargoat?
Yes, we do. And I'm very proud of how it helps rocket and aerospace engineers launch their new products faster than ever. But I'm actually up here to talk about how we, NI and the community, can use LabVIEW together to make the product even better.
Yeah, we actually want to talk about our plans to invest in open source software.
Yeah, as many of you know, I helped create JKI's VI Package Manager at vipm.io to empower LabVIEW users to easily find, install, and share reusable code and tools for LabVIEW. Thousands of community-created LabVIEW tools are available on vipm.io and have been downloaded and installed using LabVIEW millions of times with vipm.
Yeah, to be clear, it was you who originally created some of the first open source libraries with OpenG and eventually vipm. And it's amazing what you and the LabVIEW community have been able to do with the product and how it continued to push the state of the art. And so talk about why you see open source software as really important for both you and for the overall community.
Sure. Open source software is about empowerment and collaboration. By open sourcing parts of LabVIEW, we're improving product quality and fostering a culture of innovation and flexibility. So I reached out to NI to open source some core parts of the LabVIEW editor. So I suggested to start with the icon editor because it's a part of LabVIEW that's written in LabVIEW, and nearly every single LabVIEW user has experience with it. So this makes it a high-value first step that all community-led improvements can then become accessible to a larger LabVIEW community.
So, and we agree. And one of the announcements we're excited to make now is our plan to open source more aspects of the LabVIEW editor starting with the icon editor. Now, this is just the first step in our plans, but Jim, why did we start here?
So the icon editor is a small yet crucial tool that we use daily in LabVIEW. Many community members have even developed their own versions of it to enhance its functionality. So by open sourcing it, we're making those improvements accessible to everyone, encouraging further innovation within the community. And I believe that NI and the community will benefit from openly collaborating together to make LabVIEW better. And open source makes this possible. But this really needs to be a collaborative space where NI and the community are working together, and NI can contribute by sharing a roadmap publicly for those parts of LabVIEW.
Yeah, so like we said, let's do this. In fact, the URL of the source for the icon editor, hosted on GitHub, is linked to from the screen here. So now, with that done, what are your thoughts on where we go from here?
Well, I view this really as a first step. I want to see more of NI's development team embrace open source. And I want to really see NI lean into the opportunity to collaborate together with the community and work with us to accelerate the growth of new LabVIEW users. So by working together to make LabVIEW better, we strengthen our relationships. So this is really an opportunity for NI to strengthen its relationship with the community and also to show that NI is committed to the future of LabVIEW and values the community's commitment to LabVIEW.
And new users, which are really important to everyone in this room. And to this end, you may remember that we launched the LabVIEW Community Edition for hobbyists in 2019. So another announcement we want to make is that we're excited to announce the LabVIEW Community Edition is now also free for students.
That's fantastic. So I personally work, yes, absolutely. And I learned LabVIEW as a student, so that's great. So, and I personally work with students in the Bay Area, and I think this is a powerful opportunity to get more students excited about science and engineering thanks to the productivity of LabVIEW.
Yeah, we're excited about this too. Now, another big important part of the community are events. And I know you're also a very active participant in community-led events. Talk us more about what they offer you.
Sure, so I think it's important to understand one of the most valuable aspects of the LabVIEW community is, to use a software term, the cohesive nature of it. There's real commonality between LabVIEW users, and when we come together, we can all learn from each other. And this is really what makes community events and forums so valuable. So from the GDevCon conference to the online GLA summit, or to your local LabVIEW user groups, or even online participation in the discussion forums, LabVIEW Wiki. These are all run by the community. And I challenge every LabVIEW user here to attend or at least join the online sessions of these events.
I agree, everybody should go. So anyway, Jim, thank you for all that you've done and all you continue to do. I know many of you here have also built businesses and livelihoods on our tools, and especially LabVIEW. And it's because of your enthusiasm and passion that we're so excited for the future of LabVIEW and what you're going to do with our technology. So with that said, I'd like to hand it back to Ritu. Thanks, and have a great NI Connect.
Thanks, Eli.
Thank you.
Hello again. Hope you enjoyed that. So as you heard from Eli, Jim, and the NI team, LabVIEW and PXI are critical technologies that will help us achieve our vision of serving engineers. Related to these products, NI is also up-leveling our total quality management program, making the quality of both our hardware and software products the responsibility of every employee at NI, and ensuring that you can trust not only the functionality, but the reliability of the products that you use. This should give you extra confidence as you use our products. Now I'd like to turn our attention once again towards the challenge of scaling tests to deliver business impact. To do this, I'd like to invite two more guests to the stage. First, a company that is literally driving change into the automotive industry. To tell us about the vision of feature to architecture, please join me in welcoming Lee Bauer from Magna International. Great to see you, Lee.
Good to be here.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Magna and some of the shifts that you're seeing in the automotive industry?
Yeah, Magna is a global tier 1 automotive supplier. I think many of you already know that. What sets us apart, however, is that we start with a holistic approach with an entire vehicle. We look at then the hardware and software systems and then reach down into the assemblies and individual components. This provides us the necessary expertise and experience to understand the challenges that are facing automotive architectures. Historically, most vehicles have ECUs operating in silos, and this has led to vehicle-level inefficiencies. The shift to a more domain-centric approach, think ADAS, user experience, and powertrain, helped in some aspects by providing focus, but resulted in more complex software stacks, and we're working to change this. Our modern architecture takes a new approach. It moves away from domain-centric to feature-centric, or what we call feature-first. It then organizes the vehicle into zones, each with a high-performance computer on a common vehicle-level software platform, which is new to the industry.
So what design challenges are introduced by this new architecture?
Traditionally, the industry obviously has been focused on hardware. Our architecture shifts the paradigm in a way that puts the emphasis on software where the true challenges and opportunities lie. Having fewer, more powerful computers certainly makes sense, but the true power comes actually through a common software platform that provides much more flexibility to our customers to deploy and customize features over the life cycle. Having said that, it also introduces architectural challenges. Creating the platform that manages the networking, the communication bandwidth, and the data throughput for features that have different functional safety requirements. The good thing here is that the platform allows for less complex software stacks, since they now have a stable platform to run on. This is why we've been developing SmartBridge. So, what is SmartBridge? SmartBridge is an in-vehicle embedded software platform that is the first, feature-first software approach in automotive, in contrast to the domain-based approach you see today. The features are categorized according to their performance and safety needs. It is a vehicle-level solution using the holistic sense, think, act software paradigm that separates the features from the underlying platform. Think compute, sensors, and actuators. This simplifies the integration between different domains and utilizes a 10 gigabit Ethernet backbone for communication between the domains while providing connectivity so that the system can be managed with cloud-based vehicle twins. And importantly, it is based on open standards, which provides our customers with the comfort that the platform can support the vehicle life cycle while allowing others to build upon it easily.
That's a great example of how the modern vehicle is increasingly software defined. I know automotive technology is moving quickly, and this is no exception. How did SmartBridge Connect project unfold?
Well, you're right, it certainly is. When we started the project, we had a goal in mind. We were going to reduce complexity and certainly reduce cost. And we had some ideas on how to get there with respect to hardware and software. But we had no idea what the final requirements would ultimately look like. So it was imperative for us to find a partner capable and flexible enough to go on this journey with us, not just supply parts when asked.
So what was unique about working with NI on this?
NI provided the hardware and the software to build a flexible, almost vehicle-level hill system that integrated well with the various components across the domains. This allowed us to test the platform and the quality of the embedded software running on it, despite rapid integration and deployment iterations. From the start, NI made it a priority to understand and align with us on our vision. The NI team worked closely with several global Magna International teams, not only as a support, but contributing to the development of the complete SmartBridge Connect solution. From the first idea to a global turnkey system, it was not about meeting standards, it was about setting new ones.
I love how you're setting a new standard. Can you share some of your results and where Magna is now?
Absolutely. So the SmartBridge project, the platform with its core technologies, is gaining a lot of interest from customers, not just in automotive. It has also had a great impact across various groups within our organization. It was a true one Magna collaboration effort that was, I should say, still is, deployed and in use in multiple locations worldwide. A key enabler for us was NI System Link software, which allowed us to effectively configure and monitor all these systems at different locations, directly contributing to the project's success.
Thank you so much, Lee, for sharing these insightful behind-the-scenes details of such a remarkable project. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So, staying on the theme of serving a larger part of the enterprise with tools that scale across functions and sites, I'd now like to welcome Brian and Jay from Raytheon. Hey, Jay, great to see you. Good to see you again, Brian. It's been so long. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Can you start by telling us a little bit about Raytheon?
So Raytheon is one of 3 business units under RTX. Our portfolio spans air, space, land and sea-based radars and precision weapon systems, or as we like to call them, sensors and effectors. Our products keep hundreds of thousands of people safe every day and are deployed across the globe. In my role, I lead the production test engineering team at one of our largest manufacturing centers in Andover, Massachusetts. So access to equipment and product data is key to my team's success.
Right, and since we design, manufacture, test, and support critical mission systems, quality, uptime, and availability are really at the forefront of what we do. In my role as a senior technical lead across Raytheon, I've been working with NI to help improve how we are using and managing our test assets and test data to really maximize mission readiness for our customers.
This is a common need across industries and one that NI is really excited about helping our customer achieve, especially in mission-critical applications. So tell us a little bit more about how the project got started.
Well, and I'm sure many of you in the audience can relate to this. We need to improve the way we're collecting, managing, sharing, and ultimately using test data across our enterprise, especially in manufacturing. In addition, equipment availability and utilization data is somewhat subjective and not always consistently recorded or tracked. And when it is, it's mostly a manual effort. With us being a global organization with manufacturing centers located across the globe, this is a hard problem to take on at an enterprise-wide scale.
Yes, and we needed a trusted partner that we could work with to accomplish things like aggregating and connecting test data, providing consistent production planning, delivering accurate test utilization reliability analysis, and having visual dashboards to display performance indicators.
So tell us about what you and your teams have implemented so far and what role NI System Link is playing.
We began our initial pilots 2 years ago in 2 manufacturing locations, one in McKinney, Texas, and another in Largo, Florida, to ensure the solution can cover a fully automated factory like the one in Florida and a more traditional standalone factory like the one in Texas. Then in phase 2 of our pilot last year, we expanded to 3 more locations in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Overall, System Link serves as the hub for collecting, analyzing, and visualizing product and equipment data, providing a real-time single source of truth across manufacturing facilities.
And to match that scale, last year we began the installation and adoption of System Link Enterprise, and we've already accomplished some key milestones. We could view real-time test results and test station statistics from multiple sites. We have customized dashboards configured to show utilization insights. And we can now identify inconsistencies in test software versions and automated software deployments.
Another key benefit in partnering with NI was working closely with the NI Customer Solutions team to drive adoption, awareness, and proficiency with these tools across our organization. We conducted targeted and customized training at the end of our pilot at multiple sites to help educate users and accelerate the rollout across our enterprise. These training sessions gave our engineers face-to-face access to NI solutions architects and really helped drive a better understanding of the project for our end users.
And how's that deployment going? Any early results that you can share?
Yeah, we're still in the early adoption phases, but yes, we've seen some great early indicators of success. We can now aggregate what had usually been lots of different individual server installations, like a potpourri of them, if you will, and simultaneously view data from all manufacturing locations. And this data can be viewed and analyzed virtually from anywhere. In fact, let's pull up one of the dashboards interfaces, see what it looks like. Here you can see in real-time results things like system state, first pass yield, availability, downtime. In this particular view, you can see the active versus idle time for a test set, which is the pink versus the blue. And when you look at it, you can see that we have plenty of XX capability, availability, and we can run a second or even third shift if we need to increase throughput.
Overall, we've been really happy with the partnership with NI. They provide a lot of help and direction and technical assistance to get our pilots up and running and accelerate scaling across our organization. Ultimately, we're very pleased with SystemLink's ability to visualize test utilization, manage software configurations, and centralize test data, which enables informed decision-making based on real-time data.
So what's next for your implementation?
Well, Ritu, the capability SystemLink provides is really core to a lot of our internal initiatives. So we're continuing to drive internal alignment and working towards common SystemLink-driven processes across all of Raytheon. Our end goal is really to have a single repository where we can view, analyze, consume test data, testation statistics across RTX.
Thank you so much for being here to share your story and your success. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ritu. Thank you.
See you soon. So this is a great example of how new product investments, especially for enterprise-level tools like SystemLink, are helping our customers achieve their business goals. But we're not satisfied with meeting today's goals. We are dedicating to serving you for years to come as your needs evolve. To give you some insight into evolving test needs and requirements, I'd like to welcome somebody who has led test organizations at several of the world's largest autonomous vehicle companies before starting his own company, LabVIEW CEO, Dr. Steve Shi. Great to see you, Steve. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ritu. Glad to be here.
So, Steve, we've been looking at how AI will change the landscape of both product design and test. Could you share some of your findings?
For sure. So one big change I see is the amount of AI embedded into product designs. So this isn't just an autonomous driving trend. It is going to affect everyone. And not only is AI in more products, but more AI is in each product. So AI is literally eating the traditional software. For example, in autonomous driving, especially the amount of functionality built with AI is growing. Tesla recently published an FSD update that a single software update removed 300,000 lines of code as the AI took on more responsibilities across the planning and control components. So what's more, AI is becoming more and more data-centric. Previously, a self-driving AI system consists of multiple modules, so each consists of many small models. For example, once Waymo had hundreds of models within their perception module. But now, similar to ChatGPT, which is one model trained with internet-scale data, Tesla Autopilot is also one big model trained with millions of video clips. So now, data is the new code.
So some in the audience here today might be asking, why is this a problem and why should we care?
Great question. Because as consumers, this is definitely great news for us. We get better product quality. But as a test engineer, having AI embedded into your DUT presents a big challenge. Our role as test engineer is not just to pass or fail a product design, but to pinpoint where the faults are. But how do you identify the faulty line of code if there is no code? Remember, as I mentioned, so basically now it's getting data-centric, and data is the new code. So in this new model, we cannot fix the code. We must fix the data.
Okay, so the challenge has been set. We must test a DUT with no visible source code. That's not an easy task. So how do we approach this, and how do we fix the data?
So first, in order to test data-centric AI, we have to rely on more data. Recording real-world data for testing is a good start, but it's impossible to cover every scenario, especially corner cases. What's more, once we find the problem, we can't code our way out of it. Now data is the new code. So to your question, fixing the data means creating larger and more representative data sets, which deliver a more complete understanding of the product behavior. My company is using generative AI to augment the real data. So we provide synthetic data sets that amplify the value of our customers' real data 100x. In this way, we enable our customers to deliver higher quality, more reliable products.
So as generative AI begins to mature, one of the concerns I often hear about is whether or not test engineers still have a role to play when testing AI-enabled systems. Can you explain the role of the test engineer in this new workflow?
Sure. So an AI model is only as good as the data it learns from and tests it with. So it's no longer the software engineer, but the data-centric test engineer who will have the biggest impact in product design. In the future, test engineers may be training ideal behavior in the real world, or even entering the synthetic world themselves via virtual reality to conduct tests from within it. Therefore, I see test engineers are experts in the boundary between the digital and the physical worlds, as they know how to integrate data-centric AI with real products. To use a movie reference, you could say they know how to plug things into the matrix. To navigate this new world, my advice to the engineers here is develop strong outlier domain expertise, as this is the data the AI system will need. Leverage synthetic data to augment your expertise. And most importantly, work with NI, as connecting the physical and digital worlds will be essential. I truly believe that test engineers are experts in engineering data, and you will be among the most valuable assets in any company during this AI revolution.
Steve, this picture that you've painted for all of us is an exciting one. Thank you for traveling so far to be with us today, and best of luck in your vision for changing the way that we test through synthetic data. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So just a little preview. Tomorrow we're going to build on this story to show you NI's vision for intelligent test and demonstrate some of the AI technology that we have in development. Before we close, I want to go back to an earlier point. Confidence and excitement for this new chapter in NI's history as part of Emerson. So to help me do this, please welcome Emerson's Chief Operating Officer, Ram Krishnan, to the stage.
Awesome. Thank you, Ritu. It is absolutely great to be here at my first NI Connect. Love the energy, love the energy. I'm truly inspired by everything we have just seen this morning, and I'm looking forward to the week ahead. NI's focus on game-changing innovation truly complements Emerson's 130-plus-year history of pioneering new technologies and solutions in industrial automation. In fact, one of the reasons that Emerson acquired NI is because we share a similar vision. This vision is one of boundless automation, which drives our strategy to knock down data silos, liberate data, and unleash the power of software for our customers. Boundless automation will unify the intelligent field, the software-defined edge, and the cloud to deliver secure, contextualized data that is usable across different functions. Just as NI started with a point of view that software is the instrument, Emerson is driving towards a vision where software truly differentiates our entire automation portfolio. The work that is being led by Ritu and her leadership team is instrumental in advancing boundless automation in test and measurement. The entire Emerson leadership team is confident in the vision NI has for the future and more energized than ever to have NI as part of Emerson. We are excited to have Ritu leading the test and measurement business and offer our unwavering support to this vital work. We know Ritu and the team are poised to continue advancing the future of test and measurement and delivering incredible technology and business results for our customers. So thank you to everyone joining at NI Connect. I hope you share my excitement about what is to come. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ram. NI Connect is about technology, it's about innovation, and of course, it's about all of you, our NI community. We have so much in store for all of you over the next couple of days, and I'm super excited about the energy in the room. Thank you for helping us make this an incredible event, and I really hope that you enjoy the next 2 days. Thank you so much for being here.